Welcome, everyone, to the Shrimply Good podcast, the podcast for all things Pistol Shrimp Baseball. I'm Lucas Burris. Joining me today and all season long this season is Jace Eustace. Hello, Jace. How are you today?
How's it going, man? I'm doing good. I'm ready to get started with this season. I know it's been a long off season and a lot of things to get into. So
we're here at opening week. It is upon us. It feels like we've waited for this forever, but we're here. We're opening play on Thursday and then opening at home on Friday, which we're all excited for. It feels weird to open on the road as well, given all that we have put in, but we're opening on the road on Thursday, but Friday is the big day. But we'll get to that a little bit later. The exciting part that we have right now is this podcast. The Pistol Shrimp Baseball is finally releasing a podcast led by myself and you, the Shrimply Good podcast, which is just the best name that we could have come up with. That's for sure. For those at home, if you don't understand what that means, it's simply, but with the shrimp. So instead of a Simply Good podcast, it's the Shrimply Good podcast. So welcome in to the Shrimply Good podcast. We have a lot to get to today. But what I want to tell you first is this episode 1 of the Shrimply Good podcast is sponsored by SOCU. That's Streeter Organized Credit Union. They'll sponsor this episode. We'll get to them a little bit later in the show about what they have going on. But if you're looking for them, find them on Facebook. It's SOCU for everything you're looking for them, socu.org. But let's talk about ourselves a little bit first, Jace, because being two Illinois Valley boys that are here right now, you know, we got to inform the fans of everything that's going on with us. They're the people that they're going to hear all season. That's me and you. So why don't you tell us and the fans at home how you just became a Pistol Shrimp, Jace?
Yes. So like you said, I'm from the Illinois Valley. I'm from Henry, Illinois, which isn't too far from the South Peru area. I actually went to college up at NIU and then started a job with the LaSalle News Tribune here in town. And I basically became a Pistol Shrimp because I met the owner. I met the general manager here when they were doing their introductory press conference. And I walked up to the owner, John, and I basically, said, hey, I don't know what your broadcast team, what anything kind of looks like right now, but I'd be happy to help out in any way that I can. We sat down, we spoke for probably about 10 minutes or so and exchanged contact information. And the next thing I knew, I was the color commentator for the Pistol Shrimp. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to, kind of get things rolling. Obviously, the build-up and putting everything together has been crazy so far, but I'm sure, you as well is just probably ready to get going. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're both ready to just get in the booth and do a game. That's for sure. My journey is very similar to yours. I am going to be a senior at North Central College in Naperville, but I was born and raised in the Illinois Valley in Oglesby, Illinois. I spent my high school days at LP. I played varsity baseball and some sophomore games on the field that we're playing at this year. So I felt like it was kind of a match made in heaven. And it was kind of the same concept of me. I talked to June, I talked to John, and then bada bing, bada boom, I had a job with the Pistol Shrimp. So I'm very excited to be here. I think we both are, and we're just ready to broadcast some games too. I think the big thing about us is everything that, they've seen on social media, the fans, we just released our Meet the Players video series. If you haven't seen that, it's on YouTube and all our Facebook and Twitter pages. But, we're doing that, a part of the Pistol Shrimp communication and media department. We're just excited to bring a lot of Pistol Shrimp content to the Illinois Valley. So that's very excited. But the big venture here right now for us is this podcast that we're going to release every Monday for the fans. We're going to do a lot of game recaps and game previews. But for this first week, we're going to do a lot of history, mainly Pistol Shrimp history and the Prospect League history. But it's just very excited to do what we're about to do today and get this podcast rolling. So let's start with some Pistol Shrimp baseball history. If you don't know about the Pistol Shrimp, our mascot is a Pistol Shrimp. It's named for the deadliest animal on the planet, but the Pistol Shrimp baseball, that is a collegiate woodbat summer baseball team that competes in the 16-team Prospect League that spans the Midwest from Missouri to West Virginia. We were originally formed in 2019 in DuPage County, Illinois, but this will be the second year of competition for the Pistol Shrimp in the Prospect League after the 2020 season was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. but we're proud to call Veterans Memorial Park in Peru, Illinois home this summer for the Pistol Shrimp. We'll play a 16-game season from the end of May, which is this week, to mid-August. 30 of those games will be at home in Peru, and 30 of them will be away across the Prospect League. That's what we got going on this year. That's the little rundown of what the Pistol Shrimp history's been.
Yeah, and obviously for a lot of teams just getting going, sometimes it can be rough to kind of get to postseason play, but that wasn't the case for the Pistol Shrimp. So in their inaugural season in 2019, they were actually one of 4 teams to qualify for the playoffs in the Prospect League, which was a tremendous accomplishment, especially for a first-year franchise just trying to get started. Individually, they had a player named Caleb Kolb who set a Prospect League record with 10 RBIs in a single game. That included 2 grand slams at Benedictine University, where they used to call home. And Phineas Del Bonita Smith was actually played on that team and was drafted by the Colorado Rockies, and is probably somewhere in the organization right now trying to get to the majors. So,
yeah, Phineas just got assigned to, I believe, their Double-A club. So that's very excited for him. He's in that Rockies organization, but that's kind of the gist of what this Prospect League is all about, what the Pistol Shrimp are all about. It's getting the players more competition. It's getting the players an opportunity to be looked at by scouts. That's the big thing of what the Prospect League does. But the Pistol Shrimp, in specific, are led on the field by owner and general manager John Jakomich. John has led the Shrimp in their first season to a 34-25 record. That was in 2019. But John's coached high school and travel baseball for several years. He's the co-owner of Evolution Athletics, a player development academy in Naperville, Illinois, and several of his players have gone on to play college baseball and beyond, of course, including his Pistol Shrimp players who hope to achieve great goals at the next level. You know, when we talk to a lot of those players during the Meet the Players interviews, you ask a lot of them what their plans are after baseball, and, you know, they have some sort of thing that they want to do, but most of them, their goal is to get drafted. That's who you have coming to the Illinois Valley this year, a lot of players who want to get drafted.
Definitely. Yeah, and the Prospect League is a place where these players can kind of come to and get that experience of almost like a pre-minor league baseball system where it's fast-paced. The level of competition they're playing, you know, is in a lot of ways higher than probably what they experience on the collegiate level. But for the Prospect League itself, it was founded in the summer of 2018. The Prospect League was originally formed to include current and former Frontier League teams. But after conversions with then commissioner of the Central Illinois Collegiate League, a league with a rich 45-year summer collegiate league history, 6 other teams were brought on board to form what we now know as the Prospect League. So the Prospect League's goal from the beginning was to get to 16 teams and to kind of become a premier college summer league that a lot of these players can come to and just kind of work on their games over the summer. So over the years, the Prospect League slowly continued to grow. They originally started with led to 2008, and now they have grown to the full 16 teams that the original goal was to kind of expand to.
Yeah, so the short term there is in 2008, the Prospect League formed, but it was way back in 1945 when that Central Illinois Collegiate League was formed, and it was kind of some Frontier League teams that didn't want to be in the Frontier League anymore, and a lot of other Central Illinois college leagues that just came together to create a better league for fans and players. And that's how the Prospect League came to be. But the exciting part about this year, like you said, is the Prospect League has finally got to those 16 teams. It's finally got to the place where it wants to be. And for the first time ever, there's conferences and divisions, and it's very exciting to be a part of the Prospect League right now. But let's look at those conferences and divisions. There are going to be 2 conferences, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. And in each of those conferences, there's a division. So in the Eastern Conference, there's the Ohio River Valley Division that has the Johnstown Mill Rats, the West Virginia Miners, the Chillicothe Paints, and the Champion City Kings. And then in the other division, that one is the Wabash River Division, which has the Danville Dance, us, Illinois Valley Pistol Shrimp, Rex Baseball, and Lafayette Aviators. So that's the division you're going to see a lot this year, Pistol Shrimp fans, is that Wabash River Division with Danville, Rex, Lafayette, and us. But there is not only another division in our conference, but a whole other conference in the Western Conference, which has the Great River Division and the Prairie Land Division. Great River Division is the Clinton Lumber Kings, the Burlington Bees, the Quincy Gems, and the Normal Corn Belters. The Prairie Land Division is the Cape Catfish, the Springfield Sliders, the O'Fallon Hoots, and the Alton River Dragons. So 16 teams, 8 in each conference, 4 in each division.
Yeah, and the Prospect League itself is now at this point, they're a nationally recognized, highly competitive amateur baseball woodbat league. They compose of these college players that have aspirations to kind of move on professionally. A lot of these are Division I players that kind of get sent here by their coaches with, an intent to just get more innings, get more at bats, be able to work around the level of competition that they expect to see kind of at that next level. All players in the league must have NCAA eligibility remaining in order to participate. In order to maintain their college eligibility, these players are not paid. They come here voluntarily and just to work on their game and just kind of be around people that kind of have the same goals as them. The Prospect League is one of many collegiate summer baseball leagues in the United States and Canada. A few other examples are the collegiate summer baseball leagues, including the Cap Code League and the Northwoods League.
Yeah, that Cape Cod League and the Northwood Leagues are what a lot of people look at as, a lot of the premier college baseball teams, a lot of D1 players go and play those. But we're seeing a lot with the Prospect League. It's beginning to get there. It's why we're allowed to call ourselves, an elite summer league team now, as we're getting a lot of those players with aspirations. We've had a lot of players drafted over the years, and a lot of those leagues have long histories of, going back into the early 1950s, way back when players were getting drafted and looking for some college baseball. Prospect League just started in 2008, which now is 13 years ago, but it's still growing, it's still expanding, and it's still becoming one of the best. But the thing with the Prospect League that a lot of fans need to understand is you probably know the Normal Corn Belters. That's probably the closest, team to the Illinois Valley that a lot of people know. I'm sure some people have been to normal games. That's what we are. We're the Normal Corn Belters. But there's other teams that you can see, like there's the Kane County Cougars, who are an independent team. That's not what we are. Those players are past college and past professional time. It's technically professional. And then the Chicago Dogs, that's an independent team as well. But then you also have minor league baseball, with the Peoria Chiefs, and that's actual people in the MLB system. We're what we like to call before the MLB system. We're a league that gets players to that system. And I think that's very exciting for fans to see this year. There's a lot of hungry players who are coming here and want to play a lot of good baseball in the Prospect League. But like you mentioned before, players must have NCAA eligibility. So I know we've got some questions before. Do you play players? No, it's not like the independent where we're getting players these money. They're coming here with NCAA eligibility, ready to come here, ready to work, and ready to get scouted. That's the big thing for all these players. You're going to see a lot of scouts in the Illinois Valley this year sitting on the bleachers. You're going to see a lot of scouts that are going to watch our broadcasts of me and you, looking for players. That's the big thing. And that's very exciting to see these players with MLB aspirations coming to the Illinois Valley. But because it's NCAA, we have NCAA rules. That's the Prospect League rules this year. We've received a lot of questions about what is the Prospect League rules? Like how we do, is it high school? Is it college? Is it MLB? Well, the NCAA in recent years has really mirrored what the MLB has in rules. There's only a few weird Prospect League rules that aren't anything affiliated with other stuff. But in general, all Prospect League games are 9 innings, except some doubleheaders or 7-inning doubleheaders, which the MLB has this year. So nothing new there. And in general, the NCAA follows all NCAA playing rules except wood bat and pitching rules, because the NCAA uses the metal bats. We use wood bats to mirror the minor leagues and the major leagues. But the pitching rules is what's really interesting about the Prospect League. Pitching rules you don't see very often anymore, especially the MLB and NCAA, but the Prospect League does have pitching rules. It's a pitch count, kind of like you see in Little League Baseball. Any pitcher that throws 2 games in a row must rest the next day. Any player that throws 30 pitches or less can pitch in the next game, but if they pitch in back-to-back days, like I said, they cannot. Any pitcher that throws 31 to 45 pitches must rest for 1 day. Any pitcher that throws 46 to 60, 2 days, 61 to 83 games, 81 to 94 days, and no pitcher can throw over 95 pitches in a game. So if you do a complete game in the prospect league, you're throwing a Maddox, as Kyle Hendricks does a lot of the times for the Cubs this year. It's a big feat to do something like that. So if you ever see a complete game from a pitcher in the prospect league, they did it in record fashion underneath those 95 pitches. But the same applies to this 95 pitch rule as it does in Little League. If you hit that mark in the middle of an at bat, you get to finish that at bat, and we'll reduce your pitch count back to 95 for the thing. But if you throw 95 pitches at any other point, you cannot face a batter after you reach 95 pitches. So you'll see a lot of pitching changes in the prospect league. You have to work your pitchers pretty well because of you have to have certain days rest, and we play 6 games a week. So there's only a few weeks this year where we only play 5. Every off day is Monday. So that's why we have this podcast coming for you every Monday. I just think that's going to be really exciting. And the last rule to know is in extra innings, a runner is placed on second base, just like in college and the MLB. That's the California rule. And it's kind of just how extra innings work now. But I think that's very exciting. What do you think of these prospect league rules, Jace? Is this what you kind of expected when you were getting into this?
Yeah, obviously, just with what the league is and how it's a way for a lot of pitchers to get extra innings and work on specific things, you obviously want to have these pitch counts, because otherwise college coaches aren't going to want to send a lot of their pitchers here to just kind of get worked. And that's obviously not what this league is about. This league is about getting experience, getting, a chance to show kind of what you have. And, these coaches and these managers and these pitchers themselves are going to have to find a way to kind of work around that, to not overwork themselves. Obviously, it's a very fast-paced type of season. So it'll be kind of like a juggling act. And obviously, and we'll get to it here in a second. But with some of the players still not being able to report because of still playing in their college season, especially in the beginning, to work around these pitch counts can be kind of difficult. Another thing I don't believe you mentioned too is also that there is a 10-run rule as well. So after 7 innings, if one team is up by 10 runs, then it will call it. That kind of just saves the arms of some of the pitchers moving forward. It just kind of gives them an opportunity to say, hey, we're going to call it here. And then kind of, going off of working off that pitch count, going into the week 1 games. Obviously, we mentioned off the beginning that on May 27th, we open as an away game for the normal Corn Belters. That game is at 6:35 p.m. So that'll kick off the season. And then the next day, May 28th, they'll return home for the home opener against the Lafayette Aviators at 7:05 p.m. Obviously, that's opening night. That'll be hosted by Rips Tavern from Ladd and Louis Lacosi, Country Financial. After that, the next day, they'll play May 29th, also against the Lafayette Aviators. That game's also at 7:05 p.m. And then the following day, they will play an away game on May 30th at Rex Baseball. That will be an afternoon game at 4:30 p.m.
Yeah, the big thing for Pistol Shrimp baseball fans to know for opening week is the 2 home games on Friday and Saturday. Both of those start times of 7:05. Come to the ballpark early, come to the ballpark ready. That's Veterans Memorial Park in Peru, Illinois. That's where you want to be. Lafayette, both nights. So you're going to see kind of this 2-night action versus the same team. So that's very exciting. But there is that bus trip on Thursday as well. So I hope you got your bus trip tickets if you wanted to go there. That's happening Thursday. Normal is not that far away. I hope to see a lot of Pistol Shrimp baseball fans in the Normal ballpark come Thursday cheering on the Pistol Shrimp. And then Sunday, it's an away game again. So 2 home, 2 away to open up the week, off day Monday, and then 6 games the following week to kind of really open up the season. It's kind of an opening weekend thing we do here in the Prospect League. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of that. But got to remember, opening night is a theme night. 3 sponsors. Get excited for that. Lots of happenings there. But we were talking about before of the roster that the Pistol Shrimp are bringing in this year, to do it. The interesting thing about opening week is a lot of our players are not here yet. And that's something we had to talk about. You can't just look at the field come Thursday and Friday and be like, who are these players? None of these guys had meet the player videos. Well, there's a lot of temporary players that are coming to play for the Pistol Shrimp this year. And I'll explain what a temporary player is in a little bit, but we only have about 17, 16 players for opening day when we usually have about 24 to 30 on the roster. A lot of these players are from the local area as well. So opening week, you got to be excited to see some local talent come take the field in a temporary status before a lot of the players that come for the Pistol Shrimp will be coming to town. But the opening week roster, we got 2 catchers coming in, a few infielders, a few outfielders, and a lot of pitchers. That's the biggest spot on our roster. We got about 6 pitchers coming in for 4 games, and one of our position players is a pitcher and an infielder. But that's about it of what we got coming on here. Some notable players for the local players. Nathan Hackenberger from IVCC is going to be playing for the team, along with Jake Dahl, who we talked about before, who's at Rockford University. He'll be pitching week 1, as well as Mickey McDowell, who also goes to IVCC as second baseman and a shortstop. We playing for the team this year. Like I said, about 16 players, some temporary players. And that's what I want to really talk about here is what temporary players are. Temporary players happen when a player has been delayed reporting to the Pistol Shrimp or any team in the Prospect League due to their spring college classes have not ended yet, or the player's college baseball team is still involved in regular season or postseason play, and they're still an active member of that squad. We have multiple players who are the second of that option. A lot of these players' seasons aren't going to end until early June, so we'll see them week 2, week 3. But for week 1, they got to finish out their regular season. Now, temporary players will not spend the entire season with their team, but they're used when a full-time player are unavailable for games. So that's what we're going to see a lot for opening week. Let me count it up here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 temporary players on the opening day roster. That's pretty much half the roster. If I do a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 current players. What's the term? Full-time. That's what I was looking for. What's the term? 9 full-time players and 8 temporary players for opening day. So that's what a lot of fans should know. But you're going to see a lot of local talent. Like I said, some Rockford University kids, 2 IVCC kids, and then some Kankakee Community College and some UW Platteville Blackhawk College Community are all going to be there as well. So some local talent opening week, a little different than the normal Prospect League players that you're going to see. But one of the most exciting people that are coming this year for us, Keyshawn Ogans, a shortstop from Cal Berkeley, is coming to join the team for opening week. He was the starting shortstop on D1 Cal Berkeley this year. So that's very exciting of a player that was brought in the short term and is going to join the team for opening week and possibly beyond. So that's, I think, very exciting as well. Even though we have a lot of local talent that's going to come in, lots and lots of good talent on this on this Pistol Shrimp team for opening week.
Yeah, and it seems like that's what a lot of Prospect League teams like to do. Obviously, they like to mix in the local talent when they can. Obviously, with this type of season being, the move to Peru, the time was limited in order to try to fill those spots. But yeah, there's a lot of talent on this team, and especially, a lot of temporary players that are coming in and filling up time. I mean, they're obviously, like you said, they're going to have a chance to play. With this amount of people on the roster, especially those pitchers. I think there's 6 or 7 pitchers to try to get you through those first at least 4 to 5 games. I mean, there's going to a lot of innings to be had and a lot of work for manager John to just kind of go through and make sure he's keeping track of those pitch counts. To make sure everything works out.
Absolutely. I think the big thing to note as well is a lot of the pitchers you're going to see didn't have a lot of pitching through their regular college season. You'll see a lot of young pitchers who have a bright future for their college teams, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores. But on D1 teams, you generally see red shirts and junior seniors are your general pitching staff. So a lot of these players haven't pitched very much in varsity action on the college level this year. So I think that's exciting as well, as you're seeing a lot of young talent, not only in general, college baseball players are young talent, but young talent on college baseball rosters. But the big thing for fans, I think, besides, what's going to be on the field is what's happening outside the field this year. That's a lot of the excitement for a lot of the fans and the Pistol Shrimp baseball fans is what's the ballpark experience going to look like. That's where I want to go to. Now we have this exciting initiative. I'm going to let Jace talk to everyone about the claw chips that are coming to Pistol Shrimp baseball.
Definitely, yeah. Visitors to the ballpark are going to become real familiar with claw chips. So the Pistol Shrimp have kind of launched an innovative new concept It's basically, in a sense, their own base ballpark currency called the claw chips. They're similar to kind of poker chips. They'll have that kind of look and feel to it. And they'll come in a $1, $5, and $25 denominations. The claw chips they'll be sponsored by our local credit union, SOCU, that is sponsoring this podcast as well, whose logo will appear on the $5 and $25 chips. So these chips will be custom engraved, and they have a UV coating to prevent any sort of fraud, and that reveals the team's logo under a black light. So fans can buy these chips at the sponsors' 5 branch locations, or obviously at the field when you go to the games as well. These can be used to purchase anything from concessions to drinks to, merchandise to kind of anything else that you see around the field during the games. These chips are also going to be accepted by some local businesses for payment moving forward. This will kind of increase the team's, branding and just kind of show, the ownership that the community we're hoping is going to take in the Pistol Shrimp, and it'll kind of show the community the direct economic impact of the team. So I'm not exactly sure in a lot of the places that have agreed to kind of accept this as currency, but I know a lot of our sponsors that have already started selling merch, such as the Locker Room over in Spring Valley, on That Guy's Secret over here in LaSalle. All of those places, these claw chips are looking to just kind of be a place for you to carry along and just kind of use and not have to carry money with, or, you send your kid to the ball game and you can kind of just give them these claw chips instead of having to worry about them carrying around cash as well. But as far as aside from the claw chips, fan experience, obviously with these type of ball games, these type of, prospect league games, we want to make sure that the fan experience, people are having fun when they come to the ball game. So there's a lot of activities that are going to be scheduled. Obviously a lot to eat, a lot to drink, and to come and watch these very talented players, get better throughout the season. And obviously we talked about the players that you'll see the first week will probably not be the players you see a month in, but these players are going to get better, and they're going to face a level of competition that's going to be very, very fun and very exciting to watch. It will have a beer tent, beer garden, obviously a lot of merchandise and gear for sale, various food vendors throughout the year, some grandstands, on-field fan activities, and including items that you can win just for showing up to the ball game. So it'll definitely be, a fan-first, family-friendly type of experience that anybody can come out and just have fun.
Yeah, the Pistol Shrimp, we provide family friendly fun, but we really pride ourselves on being able to give a good experience to the fans back home. So listening at home, what you really need to take away from this is understanding of the claw chips. That is just how you're going to buy stuff at the ballpark. We're going to have multiple locations at the ballpark. You go up there with cash or credit or whatever you need, and you just buy the claw chips. They're in $1, $5, $25 increments, and that's how you're going to pay for stuff around the ballpark. It should make stuff so much easier. There's going to be a lot less cash flow where you're not going to do it. It's kind of just like how a casino works as well. It's the same concept. It should really make it easier on everyone at home. And you're going to be able to use your claw chips all season long. They don't expire at that game. Once you buy them, you have them all season. And like we said, you can use them at local businesses as well. So I think that's the really exciting part, is if you head down to That Guy's Secret, you can buy some merch if you're not going to buy it at the field with the claw chip that you bought at the field. So I think that's the most exciting part for the claw chips as well. And then, like I said, fan experience is going to be huge. Come hungry, come thirsty, and come ready to watch some really good baseball. I think that's going to be the most exciting part, is just going to see all these fans in the stands outside of Veterans Memorial Park, just enjoying the baseball atmosphere that the Pistol Shrimp have brought to the Illinois Valley. It's going to be a great summer of 30 games here in Peru, and I think that's going to be most exciting for everyone at home. The Pistol Shrimp are so excited to be here, talking with everyone who's involved in this organization, from staff to players, excited to play some baseball, excited to be a part of this community. The biggest thing is the community impact that this team can make. And we've already seen it happen, and it's very exciting. One final thing, though, is I want to give that shout out to Soku. Thank you for sponsoring this episode of the Shrimply Good podcast. And thanks for sponsoring the claw chips as well. Like I said, on Facebook, SOCU on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Find them there. Go to soku.org shrimplygood.org to find them other places as well. They're sponsoring this episode of the Shrimply Good podcast and the Claw Chips all season long. But other than that, it was great to do this first podcast with you, Jace. Is a great first episode. We hope to see everyone at opening day at Veterans Park on May 28th. Make sure you tune in to the broadcast. If you cannot make it live to the game, we're live all season long on Prospect League TV. We're going to send out those links on social media this week, but just go to prospectleague.tv to find us. You can buy single game passes, you can buy league passes, or you can buy single team passes. But if you want to hear me and Jace on the broadcast all season long, go to prospectleague.tv to hear us do that. You can find us at Flows and Riverfront as well if you're looking for that. But thanks again to Soku. Thanks again for everyone joining us on this first episode of the Shrimply Good podcast. We'll see you next Monday for everything in Pistol Shrimp Baseball. Remember, it's Shrimply too good to miss. It's the Shrimply Good podcast.